What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the current data points, latest and updates, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. SoundHound is down 4.48%, 1171 the low, 1235 the high, and you are seeing very low volume, so 24.7 million shares being traded, 37.7 is the average. So one thing that I have brought up over the last few days is with SoundHound, it was getting an immense amount of capital getting pushed in. And so of course, any momentum stock kind of moves higher as a byproduct. You take out the capital, thus it goes down. So that's kind of why it's been pulling back slightly. Still though, over the last 5 days, it is up 11.12%. So still pretty good week all in all. Aside from that though, no substantial data points. One thing that is impacting the market is this. So Trump and his tariffs. He seems to be back at it, woke up on the wrong side of the bed or for whatever reason. So kind of increased the tariffs on Canada. So that's going to be effective August the 1st and seems to be willing to do more blanket tariffs. So market doesn't generally like that. Even though I know back in April when SoundHound was pulling back because of the tariff fear at that time, I was kind of reminding individuals that, hey, keep in mind that SoundHound is out there to increase efficiency. And I think SoundHound, to be fully fair, has done a good job of really portraying that through a lot of their PRs, rather than saying, hey, we're doing this. It's more like, hey, this sector is growing and we are going to grow with it. So I think at the end of the day, SoundHound is a pretty good deal. And I've brought up in the past, just looking at the quantitative data, valuation is A-. So it's a pretty good value play out there for those of you that are kind of into that type of thing. Aside from all that fun stuff though, as nothing really coming out from the company, no official news, no SEC filings or anything like that. So it is just piggybacking off the broader market. They did put this out, so on social media. So Firehouse Subs, they had, I guess, a conference. I didn't think that Firehouse Subs would do a conference. I know I've kind of brought this up just to play devil's advocate. I would really like to know how much all of these types of conferences costs for them to have a booth, because I don't really see this being potentially beneficial and having 4 employees kind of demoing it. I don't really see that beneficial, but what do I know? One thing that they did put out 2 hours ago was, again, just more reconfirming of what they are doing to increase efficiency. And so with voice AI powered drive-through and phone ordering, customers get their favorites fast, hot, and hassle-free. And in case you did not know, I guess today is National French Fry Day. I didn't know that was a thing, but yeah. Pretty cool stuff. Aside from that though, you are seeing shorts increase a small amount, 133,000 shares, 33.01% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 119.25 million shares overall are being shorted. So as far as what shorts did at the beginning of the day, they were increasing, it looks like at the peak, about 1.3 or 1.4 million. So they were really adding some suppression at the beginning part because things weren't all that bad. Once the market did open, SoundHound actually showed that it wanted to move higher, had a very nice spike up, but with shorts increasing, kind of low volume and everything, this is why you kind of got the circumstance how it played out. Aside from that, looking at the options, 6.2 million in calls, 1.6 in puts, 49% of all the options are bearish in nature. And that's been something, again, that's been somewhat matching with the volume, is just optimism has kind of dropped. So again, bearishness is anticipated, at least for the next little bit. From the bulls standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 12, bears for it to be sub 12. So a little bit more kind of evenly divided on that. With today being Friday though, just take note of the open interest. So with it right now at 1170 and change, it is kind of between these 2 points. So you have 7,000 at that 12 and then 6,000 at the 1150. It would have been nice for it to close above 13, but this is why shorts did really increase over the last couple of trading days, because they wanted to ensure that SoundHound was not going to close above 13 because there was 13,000 in open interest at that stage. So next week though is a monthly change, so that should make things fairly interesting. But aside from that, these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. And like I said, kind of the frequency isn't necessarily there. Institutions are still paying attention to it, but still, it would be nice if, honestly, Trump didn't talk about tariffs. That's what caused all this uncertainty kind of back and forth. So if he kind of just would have stayed quiet, then the market would have just continued higher. SoundHound probably would have been at that 14 to most likely 1450 range. Aside from that though, with it right now at 1175, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. So 1147 is a strong support. Given where we are at in the second half of the day, I don't really anticipate that to be hit. And then 1186 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, followed by 1249. Basically, no new analyst ratings. Most likely, you should see a rush of new ratings coming out from their upcoming earnings, which technically has been unannounced yet. But aside from that, no even articles really coming out either about SoundHound or anything. So it's just kind of piggybacking off the broader market. Sometimes nothing really wrong with that. Today, though, it did break below the ALMA. Nothing overly too concerning about that because it is still above all the key pivotal moving averages. So the 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages. One thing that I did want to also bring up is during this nice spike higher, it was able to get above the ALMA. So going forward, assuming the market is relatively optimistic, you are going to have algorithmic trading really working on your side. So similar to what has happened during this very nice run up, you had algos on your side and you pretty much had it above all the key pivotal moving averages that we are pretty much playing out. So I think today at the same time is just more of a consolidated pullback on a technical standpoint. So I wouldn't be overly too concerned. If it does break below, I would say this 1084, then that might be a little bit more of a time to panic potentially. But I think given the circumstances, a lot of big companies as well unveiling their earnings next week, we could see a little bit more of a further push higher. But at the same time, because of this grayness and a lot of stocks, including SoundHound, being considered rather overbought, you are going to see a lot of volatility. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. I really do like SoundHound, as I've stated in the past. I will continue to cover it. We'll continue to hold it. If it does get to roughly around that $10 range, so this is where I'll start selling puts once again. But I think just at this stage, the market needs either a rate cut. So it's kind of looking for the next big catalyst. So either needs a rate cut or some substantial tariff deals, not just threatening to increase tariffs because things didn't go your way, some actual deals that benefits Americans. So that's just my viewpoint, of course. So I think you might have some continued volatility for the next little bit, but bigger picture, as what the quantitative data even mentioned, SoundHound is a pretty good deal based on all the key metrics. Let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I do give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.